Hey, it's Mia, and I'm bringing you Reading Between the Lines. So, I recently read Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and Holden Caulfield is not okay. In this podcast, I will dive in and analyze him using psychodynamic techniques. If you haven't read Catcher in the Rye, you might ask, who is Holden Caulfield anyway, and why is he not okay? Holden here is our main character, and the novel is written in his point of view. Clearly, from his speech, he had a lot to say about people, and basically he hates almost everyone. He sounds like an awful person, I know, so why bother doing this? That's exactly the reason why. Let's dive into the question of, why is he like this? We have to know what might have happened for us to understand his pessimistic view of the world. If you're familiar with Sigmund Freud, you have probably heard of the psychodynamic conflict. If not, here's a crash course. Freud's personality theory involves a psychodynamic which emphasizes active interaction within the psyche, which has three components. The id, which is the impulsive and irrational mental energy that is focused on immediate and uninhibited pleasure. It's kind of like having a kid. The superego, which acts as the psyche's moral censor. It is the set of ethical and societal standards for our behavior. Kinda like having a parent who keeps telling you what to do, huh? And finally, the superego, which is basically the manager of the psyche that is involved with planning, reasoning, and problem solving. It controls the id and it satisfies the needs of the superego. So, that was either really interesting or really boring, but will help us understand more about Holden's personality. There's a clear conflict between the superego and the id, and in this case, the superego is represented by his school and what his parents want. Holden can't do whatever he likes because no matter what he does and whether he agrees to do so, he is trapped by societal rules and standards. But his id mostly takes over because of his impulsive and rebellious decisions like failing school, running away from home, drinking, smoking, and even hiring a prostitute. Literally things that a teenager isn't supposed to be doing. This ad is brought to you by
김밥?
Well, wasn't that an interesting ad? It kinda made me want to go get some food now. Anyway, going back, there are many other psychodynamic techniques that have been developed to explain a person's behavior and personality. I thought it would be fitting to analyze Holden through one of Karen Horney's theory. This states that healthy individuals are flexible in balancing their needs and anxiety. Doesn't sound much like Holden, right? Well, in this case, he would be considered as unhealthy and struggles with basic anxiety, which is a feeling of isolation and helplessness in a hostile world that stems from problems with interpersonal relationships, which Holden displayed pretty much throughout the whole novel. It showed when he was still at school, since he didn't really have any friends because everyone around him is a phony. Also with his family, when he couldn't even bring himself to tell the truth to his parents and even lying to his little sister, one of the only people that he's actually fond of. And of course, when he decided to run away and go off in the city. But what is the actual root cause of all this unhealthy psychodynamic conflict and anxiety? At a young age, Holden has experienced a lot of trauma, starting with the death of his younger brother Ali from leukemia at the age of 11, and Holden was only 13 at that time. Sadly, he witnesses another death. One of his classmates from his older school commits suicide while wearing his sweater. And although Holden's parents were not mentioned too much, this might be a contributing factor as well, Holden might have repressed this feeling of being neglected by his parents, since they don't seem to be as involved in his life. Having gone through all of that pain and grief without proper guidance and support turned Holden into a person who only sees life as a catch-22. And that's it for this segment of Reading Between the Lines. Thanks for listening.